In this episode, you'll learn the number one reason why most ministries on social media fail to thrive and how this overlooked verse in the Bible is the secret key to grow your business or ministry to new heights. You've got a dream to glorify God and make your mark on the world. Maybe you want to grow a business, start a ministry, or become a better servant leader. Whichever level in life you want to hit, I believe that God's calling all of us towards something greater than where we are now. So join me as I document my journey to learn how to grow an online ministry in ways that are effective, biblical, and aren't stuffed with complicated religious or business mumbo-jumbo. My name is Alec Kassan, and welcome to the Digital Ministry Mastermind Podcast. Hey, what is going on, current Christian family? It is Alec here, and I'm so excited to be here with you with another fantastic episode. So to share a little bit of, kind of cool personal news for you guys, my wife and I are planning to move. And I haven't really told a lot of people this yet, but we're planning to move to Arizona. Whoa. Yeah, just some big stuff. I just wanted to say, because it's like, we're really planning stuff out. We're going to be visiting, see different apartment complexes to move into. We're excited. It's something that we know that God's kind of calling us towards, and it's going to be leading to some really great new things, new challenges, but also new growths as well. So yeah, it's some cool stuff I wanted to share with you guys because I see as basically as family. I love all this, the love and support that you show. And I wanted to kind of show you a little bit of behind the scenes of my own life, what's going on. So anyway, I want to dive into this episode now. I don't want to get too ushy-gushy over here with opening up and things like that. But anyway, when it comes to the Bible, when it comes to Jesus' ministry, we learn a lot of important lessons and wisdom, not just in what he says, but also in just how he moves. We see that although Jesus is God in human flesh, he recognizes that he can't be in all places at once, at least like when he was just in his human form, which is why he left so that we can have the Holy Spirit. We also see that although Jesus is God, people can still turn down the good things that Jesus is trying to produce in their lives. But there's one tiny thing that we see Jesus do that often goes overlooked because it is only one little tiny verse. And this verse, despite being noticeably short, can lead to massive growth and impact if you apply it in your business or ministry. And the reason why the verse I'm about to share with you is so important is because it addresses the number one reason why too many ministries and businesses fail to grow. In fact, I remember when I first started my ministry called The Current Christian, it started with making a YouTube channel, then a Facebook page a couple days later. And then I was like, you know what? Since I made a Facebook page, I may as well make a Twitter page. And, I've made a Reddit profile, and I made a Patreon account as well, because why not? And I was basically all over the place online because I believed that this is what I needed to do in order to grow. But I was extremely mistaken. I talk about this in some of my previous episodes about how we need to focus on mastering one platform for at least a year before we even begin to add another platform to our arsenal of social media outreach. And not only were my efforts just totally diffused, but I was just simply overwhelmed. And plus, I was just too busy. I was doing work that did nothing to move the needle forward in my ministry, but what it did do was get me very frustrated very quickly and got me right on the edge of giving up entirely. And you might be encountering this problem too. It's because it's easy. It's easy to create a profile on any and every type of social media platform that there is. But what isn't easy to do is basically have your stuff thrive on them. So what is it that Jesus said in the Bible? What was that one little verse that basically, if not used properly, is going to allow everything to just kind of fall apart and wither away? Well, in the beginning of Acts, Jesus gives his disciples some advice before leaving them. Jesus says, "You will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you will be my witness in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth." And that's in Acts 1, verse 8. Now, Jesus is both advising and commanding the disciples to witness in Jerusalem, then Judea, then Samaria, and then finally to the ends of the earth, because it's just super easy right after that. But the first time I read this, the meaning was totally lost to me. I just saw this as a checklist of places for them to go to. But what I failed to see is that this isn't a linear roadmap. Rather, it's more like an outward ripple effect. If you were to look at a map of Jerusalem, we would see that it's located in Judea. And when Jesus says to witness in Jerusalem, he's saying to start small and local, then move on to Judea, which is much larger and broader. And then after Judea, then you can expand further to move to Samaria, and finally reaching the whole world. And that was the strategy given to the disciples. Start small and local, expand outward, then expand more and more. But this is crucial. The first step of starting small is something that we very quickly glance over because we got this big vision that God has given to us. In the beginning of that verse, Jesus says you will receive power from the Holy Spirit. And we feel like that sometimes. It's like, I got this great idea. Oh my gosh, I got so inspired. I'm gonna start this thing, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna get millions of views, and then I'm gonna start all these other things, and then all these different channels and these videos and these posts. People are gonna like them and feel so inspired, and they're gonna donate. And oh yeah, I gotta make a Patreon account so then they can give me some money on there. And after they give me money, then I'll start making merch. And it's like, hold up, slow your roll, because we got this big vision that God's given to us, and it's awesome. I'm not going to deny that. But that enthusiasm is kind of influence us to skip past the first thing that Jesus is advising us to do. And that message was basically, start small and local, start small and local, start with what you have, what you can do. And this message can be applied to more areas of our ministry or business than just social media. I'm going way back, but back in December of 2019 on New Year's, I told my wife that for 2020, I was like, my sole focus was going to be on writing Planting Your Purpose. And prior to 2019, I had my attention spread out way too thin. I was working on too many projects at once, and it resulted in basically nothing becoming fruitful. So on New Year's, I made a commitment to put a hold on all things and just focus solely on planting your purpose. And I heard statistics about how when it comes to writing books, and I'm talking about and I'm sorry, I'm putting people on blast a little bit here, but when I say book, I mean like a legit book. Like I see if something's more than 180 pages, I consider that like a real book. So when I'm saying book, this one, like Planting Your Purpose is 234 pages full of content. And when it comes to writing like real books, statistic that I heard is only 1% of people who've started writing a book actually follow through with completing it. And I'm not saying that as tooting my own horn, but I'm pointing it out because what happens, this is probably a big thing, is that people spread themselves out way too thin. They're trying to do multiple things at once and they don't complete anything that they decided to start. So not only was I able to write my first book in 2020, but I was able to make way more of an impact in the Christian community by focusing on one thing than I was by focusing on all these other multiple things at once. And what I learned by making that commitment was that if Jesus needed to tell his disciples to start in one place, then we too need to start in one place. Only after we take ownership of what we have and where we are now will we be able to expand further. And that only happens after. So only after we take ownership of what we have and where we are now will we be able to expand further. So if you haven't listened to any of the prior podcast episodes about, I have one for how to pick a platform that works best for you. It's episode 34. The title should be Grow Your Social Media Outreach, something like that. Go back to that episode if you want to know which episode to start with go back to that episode to know which social media platform you should start with your ministry. And I'll help you not just pick a good platform, but pick a good platform that just works for you. So go back to episode 34, listen to that. And hey, I want to know, what is your Jerusalem? Is it online or is it local? Is God advising you to pick a single platform to start, or is God guiding your heart to start with a single job or a single ministry? And if anything in this episode, came across as insightful or helpful to you on your journey and on your walk with Jesus, then please, I ask that you share your support by subscribing. And if you think that anything in this episode could help any of your friends or family members, then please, I invite you to share this with them as well. Or you can share any other prior episodes as well. So, hey, God is calling all of us towards something greater than where we are now. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Are you a Christian leader looking to develop the skills needed to maximize the fruitfulness in your daily walk with Christ? Do you want to overcome the burden of not living life to the fullest and fully step into your God-given calling? If you do, then you should get a copy of my book, Planting Your Purpose, a 20-day guide to discover God's calling. It's not just another devotional book. Planting Your Purpose is your 20-day guide that will provide you with the strategies, tools, and insights to turn things around immediately. You will learn how to avoid the top 5 mistakes Christians make when pursuing their calling in life. You'll develop more joy in your walk with Jesus and unlock the secrets to mastering integrity. And by the end of 20 days, not only will you know your calling, but you'll have an even greater sense of fulfillment and confidence in your life. Everywhere, Christians are raving about this amazing new guide to discover their God-given calling. Get your copy by clicking the link in the show notes or by going to plantingyourpurpose.com. That's plantingyourpurpose.com.